The whole ideology of modern anti-cultism takes its root from Germany, from the way they were smearing minorities over there, then inciting prosecutions, cooperating with a tyrannical government, and then through the chain of teachers from Walter Kuhne to Fritz Haag to Johannes Ockert, Alexander Dworkin embraced all this ideology coming right from there. And now through organized network of agents like this guy, and their main agent in the UK, Alexandra Stein, who's submitting their propaganda to BBC, they all are working to incite these hateful messages in the West and incite propaganda, kind of like they did in Ukraine through the very same network. So all this network was undermining and sabotaging Ukraine from the inside through, and was guided from Surkov, Putin's assistant, and was working through this anti-cult network, which is very convenient for recruiting agents in the media because they approach them from the point of let's fight evil cults, sects, protect the society, and so on. But then recruited agents are being used for political reasons, for geopolitical reasons, to smear candidates, to attack parts of the society and divide it from the inside. And that's exactly what they were doing in Ukraine. Now they have their tentacles almost in every European state. Like, take a look, Dworkin is receiving awards in European universities in Slovakia. And here he is kissing hand of Patriarch Kirill, who basically called this war against Ukraine and against the West, against the US, as a holy war against Satan, Antichrist. So first they smeared Ukraine as a cult in Russia for the local audience to incite hate and justify the upcoming invasion. And then they labeled the whole West and the whole US and the Muslim world as satanic and declared this holy war. So just think about it. If they did it first to Ukraine, now they're doing this to Europe and to the US, what are their plans? Currently, they are being guided by Sergei Kiriyenko and his Diveevo Order, this elite club which unifies Russian elites like Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense, but they're all guided by Sergei Kiriyenko, who has been doing multiple attempts to undermine American trust in the election and divide society from the inside once again. Their agents in the UK, like Singleton and Stein, are doing the very same thing. There is a great article on this topic. I suggest to everyone to read this. Europe, open your eyes if you don't want war, because it shows how exactly this network was operating in Ukraine. And currently, a massive amount of their agents in the European media have exposed themselves by promoting narratives of Russian Razzirs. The organization led by Dworkin, Karvalia, and so on. Karvalia recently has been very vocal, trying to ask people not to watch the documentary that exposes Fakhry's Razzirs and his pro-Russian agenda. That's why I'll mention it. It's called The Impact. It's 8 series, about 1 hour each, and you can watch it over the weekend, and it's the most useful information, better than anything you can find on Netflix. Just check out this documentary. You'll learn the whole history of this bizarre organization that penetrated Russian Orthodox Church and basically took over it, hijacked it, and right now using it for warmongering propaganda. For example, here is Novopashin, participant of Fakhry's and vice president of Russian Razzirs, and he declared this war against Ukraine as a crusade against Satanism. And Patriarch Kirill is repeating the same thing in the Russian parliament. So they really using, incitement of hatred towards Ukraine and towards the West, and this is their plans. They took over entire power in Russia. They banned all possible, competition in the field of religious field. They banned everyone who wasn't under their control. So right now they're using the same methodology to take over power in the West. And in this regard, it's very interesting how they were using their attacks against ALLATRA in Russia. ALLATRA is an international public movement organization that was talking about climate, sharing information, taken from public sources. But these guys, they did not like the message of unification of people to solve the climatic problem, right? And because that's a sobering message that makes people think. Instead of that, they started labeling ALLATRA as a cult sect in Russia and trying to incite hatred and then law enforcement actions against it. So eventually, after a series of smearing publications labeling ALLATRA as Ukrainian and American organization that cooperates with the intelligence of the US to undermine Russian sovereignty, they pushed one of their agents in the Russian Duma from Chelyabinsk region to actually ban ALLATRA on the governmental level in Russia, which was done in 2023, and ALLATRA was banned. And currently, ALLATRA participants in Russia are seeing such as severe persecutions with FSB raids, with jails, with criminal cases against them. But now, the very same network organized the same harassment campaign in Europe, and the very same script, first smearing publications by their agent in media, and then political parties trying to use this narrative to take over power, to first label an organization, demonize it, and then attach some politicians to it, say that, oh, that politician politician they don't like, he belongs to evil cult. And in the West, for the export market, they say it's pro-Russian cult. If in Russia they will label him as pro-Ukrainian, in here is pro-Russian. Eventually, it's just a convenient tool to recruit agents in the media to launch a smear campaign and then use it for their political purpose. And we, as ALLATRA participants, we not agreeing with that, because ALLATRA has always been outside of religion, outside of politics. But this network of Russian Red Series agents, they using it for their purpose. A few weeks ago, there was a massive smear campaign launched against ALLATRA and Creative Society in Slovakia. And the reason for that was that prosecutor in one of the European states started investigation and interrogated one of their agents. And as a result, the whole network basically blew up with 240 smearing publications about ALLATRA in just a matter of 2 weeks. They successfully pressured the Attorney General of a European state to shut down an investigation against the network, which is guided from Russian Red Series, so anti-cult department of ROC, Russian Orthodox Church, which was declared by PACE, Parliamentary Assembly of Council of Europe, as Russian tool for propaganda and disinformation. So take a look, the whole violation of international laws, of local laws, and this network keeps existing. Now, the ideology of the network is coming from the Germany of 1920s, 1930s, and through the chain of their students. Right now, Alexander Dworkin embraced it. So just think about it, what kind of ideology and what kind of goals they have. One good thing about this campaign is that they basically exposed all their agents in various countries. So you can just Google it up, read their articles, see that they all publish in the same smearing propaganda copy-pasted from Russian Red Series website, and you will see who is in this network and who is recruited agent of Russian disinformation. They might state that they are very anti-Russian, but just know that they operate covertly and they use anti-cult narrative to incite hatred inside of the society and destroy it from the inside. And the attacks on ALLATRA is just a convenient way to expand their network. From the very first one that were published on Russian Orthodox Church website back in 2015 and 2014, they went as far as banning Rumble platform in Russia only for people not to have access to truthful information about what is actually going on. So while you still have this opportunity to get access to information, to use freedom of speech, I encourage all of you to speak up on this topic, whether you have been harassed by this network or whether you're just a side observer and you're seeing these things happening. You have to understand that they're coming not after ALLATRA, they are not coming after sects. That's just a tool and method for them to take away your freedoms and your democracy. And that is why I encourage everyone to watch the Impact groundbreaking documentary and find out for yourself the facts and verify it yourself and share this information with others.